I don't know what's going on with my hair, guys. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. That's a hot mess. Sorry. I went live and my hair is a hot mess. That's weird. Can't do that. Hang on. Not that it matters. I didn't look at my camera before I started. So, what hair I have, it's awful. So, let's see if we can't get this going right. Okay. So, tonight we are going to be reading 1 Kings 7 1 through 51, Acts 7 30 through 50, and Psalms 128 1 through 6, and Proverbs 16 31 through 33. Okay, got to make sure that my camera is working. Got the TV set up right. We'll fix that. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, sorry, it feels like a Monday today. Sorry. Okay, First Kings. We're going to do the Lord's Prayer. So join in with me if you don't mind. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory forever and ever. Amen. I forget about the lead us not into temptation thing. Okay. 1 Kings 7 1 through 51. It took Solomon another 13 years to finish building his own palace complex. So it took him 7 years to build the the tabernacle for the Ark of the Covenant. He built a palace of the forest of Lebanon, 150 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. There were 4 rows of cedar columns supporting 4 45 cedar beams, 15 in each row, and then roofed with cedar. Windows in groupings of 3 were set high in the walls on either side. All the doors were rectangular and arranged symmetrically. He built a colonnade courtyard 75 feet long and 45 feet wide. It had a roofed porch at the front with ample eaves. He built a courtroom, the Hall of Justice, where he would decide judicial matters, and paneled it with cedar. He built his personal residence behind the hall on a similar plan. Solomon also had built another one just like it for Pharaoh's daughter, whom he had married. No expense was spared. Everything here, inside and out, from foundation to roof, was constructed using high quality stone, accurate cut and shaped and polished. The foundation stones were huge, ranging in size from 12 to 15 feet, and the very best quality. The finest stone was used above the foundation, shaped to size and trimmed with cedar. The courtyard was enclosed with a wall made of 3 layers of stone and topped with cedar timbers, just like the one in the porch on the temple of God. King Solomon sent to Tyre and asked Hiram, not the king, another Hiram, to come. Hiram's mother was a widow from the tribe of Naphtali. His father was a Tyrian, a master worker in bronze. Hiram was a real artist, and he could do anything with bronze. He came to King Solomon and did all the bronze work. First, he cast 2 pillars in bronze, each 27 feet tall and 18 feet in circumference. He then cast 2 capitals in bronze to set on the pillars. Each capital was 7.5 feet high and flared at the top in the shape of a lily. Each capital was dressed with an elaborate filigree, you don't see that word often, on 7 braided chains and a double row of 200 pomegranates. Setting the pillars off magnificently, he set the pillars up in the entrance porch to the temple. The pillar to the south he named Security, Jachin, and the pillar to the north, Stability, Boaz. The capitals were in the shape of lilies. When the pillars were finished, Hiram's next project was to make the sea an immense round basin of cast metal, 15 feet in diameter, 7.5 feet tall, and 45 feet in circumference. Just under the rim, there were 2 bands of decorative gourds, 10 gourds to each foot and a half. The gourds were cast in one piece with the sea. The sea was set on 12 bulls. three facing north, three facing west, three facing south, and three facing east. The bulls faced outward, supporting the sea on their hindquarters. The sea was 3 inches thick and flared at the rim like a cup, or like a lily. It held about 11,500 gallons. Hiram also made 10 washstands of bronze. Each was 6 feet square and 4.5 feet tall. They were made like this. Panels were fastened to the uprights. Lions, bulls, and cherubim were represented on the panels and the uprights. Beveled wreath work bordered the lions and bulls above and below. Each stand was mounted on 4 bronze wheels with bronze axles. The uprights were cast with decorative relief work. Each stand held a basin on a circular engraved support 1.5 feet deep on a pedestal 2.25 feet square. The washstand itself was square. The axles were attached under the stand and the wheels fixed to them. The wheels were 27 inches in diameter. They were designed like chariot wheels. Everything, axles, rims, spokes, and hubs, was the cast metal. There was a handle on the 4 corners of each washstand. The handles cast in one piece with the stand. At the top of the washstand, there was a ring about 9 inches deep, and uprights and handles were cast with the stand. Everything and every available surface was engraved with cherubim, lions, and palm trees, bordered with arabesques. The washstands were identical, all cast in the same mold. He also made 10 bronze wash basins, each 6 feet in diameter with a capacity of 230 gallons, one basin for each, and 10 washstands. He arranged 5 stands on the south side of the temple and 5 on the north. The sea was placed at the southeast corner of the temple. Hiram then fashioned the various utensils, buckets, and shovels, and bowls. Hiram completed all the work he set out to do for King Solomon on the temple of God. 2 pillars, 2 capitals on top of the pillars, 2 decorative filigrees for the capitals, 400 pomegranates out for the 2 filigrees, a double row for pomegranates for each filigree, 10 washstands, each with its wash basin, 1 sea, 12 bowls under the sea, miscellaneous buckets, shovels, and bowls. All these artifacts that Hiram made for King Solomon for the temple of God were on burnished bronze. He cast them in clay in a foundry on the Jordan plain between Succoth and Zarethan. These artifacts were never weighed. There was far too many. Nobody has any idea how much bronze was used. Solomon was also responsible for the furniture and accessories in the temple of God: the gold altar, the gold table that held the bread of the presence, the pure gold candelabras, 5 to the right and 5 to the left in front of the inner sanctuary, the gold flowers, lamps, and tongs, the pure gold dishes, wicker trimmers, sprinkling bowls, ladles, and censers, the gold sockets for the doors on the inner sanctuary, and the holy of holies used only for the doors of the main sanctuary. That completed all the work King Solomon did on the temple of God. He then brought in the items consecrated by his father David, the silver and the gold and the artifacts. He placed them all in the treasury of God's temple. The breakdown of 1 Kings 7:1 through 51. This chapter focuses on the construction of Solomon's palace and the completion of the temple furnishings. God's great attention is given to detail, beauty, and craftsmanship of God's house. We are a house for God. We are God's house. Great attention given in the details, beauty, and craftsmanship of God's house. How much attention and detail and beauty and craftsmanship have you given yourself? Because you are a temple of the Most High God. Ouch. Yeah, that stings a little bit. I'm working on it, folks. I'm working every single day. Great attention is given to every detail, beauty, and the craftsmanship of God's house. The lesson is that God values excellence, order, and faithfulness in what we build for Him. Man, it's gonna make me cry. Solomon didn't cut corners. Man, that stings. Solomon didn't cut corners. He gave God his best. It reminds us that our lives are also a temple for God, and we should pursue excellence in our character, work, and workmanship. What the crap? That's good. Honor God with your best, not your leftovers. Wow, the conviction in that. You know, I said this the other day. I've been spending time with God every day. I try to spend 2.5 hours a day. God asks for 10% of what He gives you daily, your tithe, which I've been very diligent with since like August. I should have been doing it for years, but I haven't, just to be truthfully and transparent. My life financially has turned around for the better just because I've been tithing. My time, I try to give God 2 hours and 24 minutes every day. That's what He's asking for. My relationship with God has gotten a whole lot better over the last almost a year now by doing that. And the conversation I had with the Holy Spirit about a month and a half ago was, what am I lacking? Where do I need to spend more time? And I heard first fruits. And everything I just read is exactly what it boils down to. And I have not been diligent the last 2 days with my first fruits at all. Tomorrow's a new day. Acts 7:30. Man, that's tough. I don't know if I can get through this. Acts 7:30 through 50. Stephen continued 40 years later in the wilderness. I got to get it together. Man, that's big. 40 years later, in the wilderness of Mount Sinai, an angel appeared to him in the guise of flames of a burning bush. Moses, not believing his eyes, went up and took a closer look. He heard God's voice. I am the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Frightened nearly out of his skin, Moses shut his eyes and turned away. God said, kneel and pray. You are in a holy place on holy ground. I've seen the agony of my people in Egypt. I've heard their groans. I've come to help them. So get yourself ready. I'm sending you back to Egypt. This is the same Moses whom they earlier rejected, saying, who put you in charge of us? This is the Moses that God, using the angel flaming in the burning bush, sent back as ruler and redeemer. He led them out of their slavery. He did wonderful things, setting up God's signs all through Egypt, down at the Red Sea, and out into the wilderness for 40 years. This is the Moses who said to his congregation, God will raise up a prophet just like me from your descendants. This is the Moses who stood between the angel speaking at Sinai and your father's assembly in the wilderness, and took the life-giving words given to him and handed them over to us. Words of our fathers would have nothing to do with us. They craved the old Egyptian ways, whining to Aaron, make us gods we can see and follow. That, think about that for a minute. Make us gods we can see and follow. We so want to see and touch something, and we have to have faith that God's there. We don't need a God, a small God, a small G. This Moses who got us out here miles from nowhere, who knows what's happened to him. That's the time when they made a calf idol, brought sacrifices to it, and congratulated each other on the wonderful religious program they put together. God wasn't at all pleased, but he let them do it their way. Worship every new god that came down the pike. And like with the consequences described by the prophet Amos. Did you bring me offerings of animals and grains those 40 wilderness years, O Israel? Hardly. You were too busy building shrines to war gods, to sex goddesses, worshiping them all with all your might. That's why I put you in exile in Babylon. And all the time your ancestors had a tent shrine of true worship made to the exact specifications God provided Moses. They had it with them as they followed Joshua. When God cleared the land of pagans and still had it right down to the time of David, David asked God for a permanent place of worship, but Solomon built it. Yet that doesn't mean that Most High God lives in a building made by carpenters and masons. The prophet Isaiah put it well when he wrote, heaven is my throne room. I rest my feet on earth. So what kind of house will you build me, says God? Where can I get away and relax? It's always built, and I built it. What kind of house will you build me? I am a temple of the Most High God, and I will act like it. I had a rough couple of days, and that's totally on me. Man, this is so good. Acts 7:30 through 50. Stephen recounts how God appeared to Moses in the burning bush and called him to deliver Israel. Yet the people repeatedly rejected God's messengers and turned to idols. Stephen's point is that God's presence is not confined to a building. He desires heart that is surrendered to him. The religious leaders value the temple but missed the God of the temple. The key thought is it's possible to be religious and still resist God's voice. Stay sensitive to his leading. Man, tonight's all about me. Psalms 128, 1 through 6. All you who fear God, how blessed are you, how happy you walk on his smooth, straight road. You worked hard and deserve all you've got coming. Enjoy the blessings, soak in the goodness. Your wife will bear children as a vine bears grapes, your household lush as a vineyard. The children around your table as fresh and promising as young olive shoots. Stand in awe of God, yes. Oh, how he blesses the one who fears God. Enjoy the good life in Jerusalem every day of your life, and enjoy your grandchildren, peace in Israel. Psalms 128, 1 through 6, this Psalms describes the blessing that come from fearing and obeying the Lord. A person who walks with God experiences fulfillment in work, family, and life. The picture is one of a flourishing home, a fruitful spouse, and children growing strong around the table. While life isn't always easy, God's favor rests on those who honor him. The key thought says true success begins with reverence for God, not wealth or status. You got to stop. This is all hitting me right in the gut. Proverbs 16, 31 through 33. Gray hair is marked for distinction, the award for God loyal life. Moderation is better than muscle, self control better than political power. Moderation is better than muscle, and self control better than political power. Make your motions and cast your votes, but God has the final say. Jeepers creepers. Proverbs 16, 31 through 33. The verse teaches that gray hair is a crown of glory when it comes from a righteous life. Self control is greater than conquering a city, and God is ultimately sovereign over all outcomes. The world celebrates power and achievement, but God values wisdom, maturity, and character. Winning the battle within you is more important than winning the battles around you. Ah, man. June the 10th, you kicked me in the gut a bunch tonight. Oh my gosh, this is good. I needed this. No one told you today I love you and I appreciate you. Tonight is, that's got to go on my journal. Tonight's a good night. I love you. I love you. I love you. Have a better than good night. And folks, we will see you tomorrow. It will be June 11th. See you then.